Next up, we're going to take a look at our pay bill screen. So I am going to be looking at this from the entity level, but depending on your setup, you may be, entering transactions, paying transactions at the top level, but more often than not, it's going to be entity level. You're going to be paying transactions. So I'm going to go to Accounts Payable, Pay Bills. And when I get in here, then I'm going to see all of the bills that are available to be paid within this entity. So that is a configuration setting that I have checked off. So in my Accounts Payable setup configuration, there's an option to say display all ready to pay bills on the pay bills screen or pay bills page, and I have that checked off. If you don't have that checked off, then when you come in to pay bills, you will not see any bills and you will have to apply a filter in order to see bills. So filters, then I have some set up in the system that are ones that we see clients ask for a lot of the time. So I'm going to click into my project filter and I'm going to edit it just to show you how you would set this up so that you can see bills that are related to a specific project. So when you get into a filter, so what you're going to do is you're going to add, I edited because I already have it, but you're going to add. You would give it a name called project. And then if you want it to be the default filter, you would select that so that when you come in, it's always applied. And I wouldn't recommend doing that for the project one, but if there was a particular filter that you wanted to make a default, you could do that. And then you can share the filter across your users as well if that's something that you choose to do. You can put in some ranges here. And then in your drill down filters, we have some different options for your object. So you can choose vendor, bill, or bill item. In this scenario, we're picking bill item, and there's also several different attributes that you can choose. For this one, we're going to choose project, and our operator is going to be equals to, and then we're going to put in it's going to give me a drop down for all of the projects that I have that exist in the system, and I'm going to select one of them. So I'm going to select this and then create that filter so that when I go back to my pay bill screen and I apply that filter, it will only show me bills that are associated with this particular project. And what I would do with that then is when I need to look at a different project, I would just come to that filter, edit it. And then down here on my drill down filters, I would just switch the project that I want to see the bills for. So I would just switch it to a different one, save it, then apply it, and then I would see the bills that are associated with that other project. So you would just create one project filter rather than creating one for each project that you have, and then just edit the project that you want to see. Another one that we have that we see clients use all the time is this subcontracts one. So if I hit edit, so you would click add, and you're going to put in a name. You can make it your default. You can share it across your users. Put in ranges if that's something that you need. And then on your drill down filters, you're going to select your object of bill. Your attribute is going to be PO transaction definition. And that is going to be equal to whatever workflow you want to see. So I have selected subcontract invoice. So once I apply this filter, it's only going to show me subcontract invoices. You could choose purchasing invoices or, whatever vendor invoice, whatever particular workflow you want to see, you can choose that. So that's another one. Obviously, once you have the information, you can save it and you can play around with these filters. There's different things that you might want to filter by. I don't know what makes the most sense for your company. I'm just showing you that there are two that we see clients use all the time. So if you were adding, obviously you would, hit the drop down here, add a filter set, put in that information and save it. And then once you've selected the filter, you do have to apply it here for it to actually update these bills and show you the ones that are related to that filter. So if you didn't want to do a filter, that would be fine. You could just do like a vendor range or a credit date range here. Your payment method in your bank, we've already seen where they default in from. And then this payment request method is going to come in from your vendor setup screen. So how do you want this vendor to be paid? So let's say I have multiple bills for one vendor and I select them. I want, more often than not, them all to go into one payment request. So like one check is generated per vendor, even though I have multiple bills for them. So that would be the most common payment request method. But this is set up at the vendor level, and then you can override it here and you could say generate one request per bill. So let's say in this particular scenario, you want to have one payment or one check per bill. So that can be done. but it's going to say, it's going to default in as use vendor preference, and it's going to be whatever you've set up on the vendor setup screen. And then you would put in, your payment date as well. So it's just going to default in as today's date. You can change that if you want. And if, you have payment notification emails set up, then who do you want them to come from? So it's set up as the user that's logged in, and you can change that here if you need to. So down here then on my actual bill screen, I cannot change these columns. So this is a static screen. There isn't anything here that I can edit. There's no way for us to manipulate this page whatsoever to bring in additional columns or get rid of any of the information that appears here. It's static and it cannot be changed. So these columns can't be moved. They are the way they are. So let's say you've applied a filter and it's for a specific project and you want to pay all of the bills that are associated with that project. You can just hit the checkbox up here. It's going to select all of the bills. Or, you can go down here and you can just select whichever particular ones that you want to pay. This warning that I see here is my vendor compliance. So I have vendor compliance set up to warn me in AP if a vendor is out of compliance. So if I click on this, it's going to show me that this particular vendor has an outstanding lien waiver. I haven't received that lien waiver from them, so they're out of compliance. A warning in vendor compliance can be overridden, so I can still pay this vendor. It just is going to tell me that there is an issue with their vendor compliance. If it was an error, I would not be able to pay this vendor. If I had a credit for my vendor, it would show up here in my credits available section. So let me actually just go into adjustments, and I'm going to really quickly create for Gales Industrial Products. I'm going to create a debit memo, and I'm just going to do it for $100 construction department, and I'm going to save that. So that's my debit memo now, which is going to come through as a credit in my pay bills screen for Gales Industrial Products. So if I go back to pay bills, then I'm going to see in the credits column a credit that's available to be applied now against Gales Industrial Products. So if I select those bills, I can apply that credit. So, and I do not have to apply the full amount. So I can say, I just want to apply 50 here. I want to apply 100 of the credit here, and I'm going to do the other 50 for this bill, or whatever way you want to do that. So also, once you've selected a bill for payment, you can edit the amount to pay as well. So like maybe I only want to pay 10,000 of this bill today. So that's totally fine. You can do that as well. So I am going to just pick one or two bills here. I'll actually pick this one that has a warning just to show you that it can be overridden. So I'm going to pick these two. I'm using payment method of check, and then my bank account has defaulted in as my ET checking. I'm paying them as of today, and then I'm just going to hit the pay now button, and they should process. So once they've processed through, it gives you a little pop-up say that they have processed successfully. And then if I go to my accounts payable module and I look at payment requests, then I'll see that those payments have gone through. And let's say I had selected something for payment via check, but it was supposed to be paid with a credit card. I could just come into this payment request section and I could cancel that request. So let's say for Poshport, I meant to pay that as a credit card. I can cancel that request, and that will bring that bill back available to be selected for payment again. So the other thing that I wanted to show you was joint check. So let's say I'm going to go into my bills. I'm going to create a bill here for, I don't know, Barth Electric. Just going to give it a bill number and an amount. So let's say it's 1,500. Excuse me, and I'm going to do construction operations. I'm going to post that bill, and then I'm going to go back into the bill, and I'm going to go to my joint payees tab. So on my joint payees tab, then I'm going to say my joint payee is XYZ. And my joint payee print as should be Barth Electric and XYZ. I'm going to post that now. And because I put in a joint payee on that tab, when I go to the pay bills screen, if I select joint checks, that should pop up. So I'm going to hit my drop down here. I'm going to go to joint checks and I see my Barth Electric, right? So now what I need to do is I need to go into my line details or payee details, either or sorry, that's a lie. I need to go to my payee details. And here I want to say for the full amount of the 1,500, I want it to go to Barth Electric and XYZ. So I want to pay 1,500 to the joint payee print as Barth Electric and XYZ. So there is a second step in your joint check process. So you add the joint payee to the joint payee tab, but then you also have to specify in the payee details that you're paying to that joint payee. So, you don't have to pay the full amount to them as well. You could do $1,000 to Barth Electric and then just 500 to Barth Electric and XYZ. But I'm going to do the 1,500 and I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to pay now. And then once I go to my payment requests, I can see that that was processed as a joint check. My payment method is joint check, and it's my joint payee print as for Barth Electric and XYZ. So it's this one here. And I had done another one that was Ace Drywall and ABC. So they're your payment requests, your pay bill screen. And then in the next video, we're going to go through printing checks.